Abbas Kiarostami was not born into freedom. He was born in 1940 in Tehran, Iran, in a country where life was often controlled, voices were limited, and expression had to be careful. From a young age, he learned an important lesson. If you want to say the truth, you must learn how to say it quietly. As a child, Kiarostami loved drawing, poetry, and simple moments of life. He studied fine arts and began his career not as a famous filmmaker, but as a graphic designer, making posters and commercials. Nothing about his early life suggested world fame. But Iran was changing. After the revolution, the Iranian regime placed strict rules on cinema. Filmmakers could not show many things openly. Topics like love, politics, and freedom were watched closely. Many artists left the country. Many stopped creating. Kiarostami stayed. And instead of fighting the system loudly, he did something far more powerful. He adapted. He began working with children. He filmed villages, roads, trees, silence, and ordinary people. At first glance, his films looked simple, very simple. But inside that simplicity was deep courage. Because when you cannot shout, you learn to whisper. And when you cannot show everything, you learn to suggest. Kiarostami believed that cinema does not need answers. It needs questions. His films did not tell people what to think. They asked them to think. One of his most famous works, Where is the Friend's Home?, tells the story of a young boy trying to return a notebook to his classmate. That's all. No explosions, no heroes, just a child walking through villages. But that small story carried a big message: responsibility, kindness, and human dignity. In an environment where rules were heavy and words were dangerous, Kiarostami chose human values as his language. He trusted the audience. He believed viewers were intelligent. He left space for silence, for thinking, for feeling. In a world full of noise, his films were calm, and that calm was revolutionary. Then came Taste of Cherry. A man drives around Tehran looking for someone to bury him after he dies. Again, the story seems simple, but behind it lies a deep question: what makes life worth living? This film won the Palme d'Or at Cannes, one of the highest awards in world cinema. Suddenly, the world noticed what Iran already had: a filmmaker who turned limits into art. What is most inspiring about Kiarostami is not only his success, it is his attitude. He never acted like a victim. He never shouted at the system. He never stopped creating. He once said that restrictions force creativity. When doors close, the mind opens. When you cannot show everything, you learn what really matters. The Iranian environment shaped him, not by giving him freedom, but by teaching him patience. He used roads as symbols of life, cars as places for confession, silence as a voice, and children, because children see truth without fear. Kiarostami showed the world a different Iran. Not the Iran of headlines, but the Iran of people, questions, and quiet beauty. Until his death in 2016, he remained simple, humble, and curious. Even when he became famous, he did not change. He believed that art should stay close to life, not above it. His story teaches us something powerful. You don't need loud freedom to create meaningful art. You don't need permission to think deeply. And sometimes, the strongest resistance is honesty and patience. Abbas Kiarostami proved that even in difficult environments, great minds grow, not by breaking walls, but by finding light between the cracks.